What is happening, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Gaming Clubhouse podcast. My name is Sonny G. Thank you for coming back. We're here for another week, episode 5. We're a day late. That's for good reason, to be fair. Me and my wife went to see Lady Gaga in Manchester last night, and it was absolutely awesome. So just didn't have a chance to record yesterday. But we're back today. And it is all good. Hope everyone has had a good week. Appreciate everybody who listened to last week's podcast. And appreciate anybody who stopped by the channel last week as well. We are now over 500 subscribers on YouTube, which is it's an amazing milestone to me. Look, and I appreciate that might seem like small numbers to some, and that's it is what it is. I'm not a massive creator. I never claimed to be, but the fact that I've been able to hit 500 subscribers is pretty amazing to me. And I just want to keep building. I just want to keep building a little community of people who enjoy VR gameplay videos, enjoy this podcast, enjoy shorts for flat screen games, and sometimes long form videos for flat screen games. And yeah, I just want to keep building and keep going and keep making content and being consistent, which is, at the end of the day, the most important thing. And it's something that I've always known is the most important thing. And it's something that I've not always been. And I'll be the first to admit that, and that's fine. But yeah, just want to keep being consistent, keep putting the videos out, keep putting the podcast out, and just keep going. So thank you to anybody who is swinging by the channel, swinging by the podcast feed, all that stuff. It's it's very much appreciated, and I will continue to thank you every single week. And I know I do come on here and sort of say thanks every week, but I'm going to keep doing that because I am very thankful for it. So yeah, plenty to talk about this week. So we'll get straight into it. I've been playing more Hades, guys. I'm obsessed with this game right now, and I can't stop playing it. And when I'm not playing it, I'm sort of thinking about playing it. I'm really getting. I'm getting pretty good at it now. I think. I don't know for certain. I think I am. I've got past. So the last bit that I did, there was two bosses at once. One was a Minotaur, and I can't remember the other name. I can't remember it for the life of me right now. It's just gone completely out of my head. I had it before I started recording, and now it's gone. But there's two bosses at once in like a Colosseum style arena. And I beat the Minotaur, and then the other guy killed me. So that's where I'm at the minute. So that's like, I think the fourth boss, because you fight the Minotaur on his own before you get to that. So I've done that, and yeah, I aim to sort of have a go again later on and battle my way through. But I love, and I know this is the obvious thing with roguelikes, is the feeling of getting stronger every time you play through, or every time you go for a run. And that's what I really love about this game, along with the art style and the music and the story. I love that, and the gameplay, of course. I just love everything about it. It's just an absolutely phenomenal game. And if I do eventually beat it, which I hope to at some point, then I will sort of look to dive into the second one, because obviously it's supposed to be incredible. The reviews have been amazing for it. So yeah, I'm gonna dive into Hades 2 eventually. It might not be this year. It might be next year at some point, but that's okay. I'm not rushing myself. I'm not breaking my neck to get to Hades 2 as soon as possible. I just want to play and enjoy Hades 1 for now, which I am doing very much so. So yeah, there's that. And I've been on my Switch 2 a lot this week. And I've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza as well. And oh god, dude, it is so good. It is so good. I feel like I've been playing it for ages as well. And I told a friend of mine where I was at in the game, or at least where I was at that point. And he was like, "Yeah, you're about halfway through." And I'm like, "Jesus, how big is this game?" Like I feel like I've been playing it for ages. And it's a great game, and I love it very, very much. And I'm going to keep going until I beat it. And yeah, I really love it. So I'm just gonna keep playing it until I eventually beat it. I have no idea how long it is. I've no idea how far into the game I am now. Obviously, at that point, I was halfway through, and I've played a lot more since then. but it's just great. Everything about it is absolutely awesome. And I think for me personally, of the new games that have been released this year, that is my favorite that I've played. And I've played Expedition 33, and I think it's awesome. It's really, really good. But for me, I mean, Donkey Kong's more of a me game. It just is. And yeah, everyone has their me games, and Donkey Kong Bonanza is one of those me games. And yeah, I'm just going to keep playing it. It's just, I just love everything about it. The music's great. I always talk about the music in video games because I'm a big music fan. And the music in this game is great. Obviously, you know, when you've got Pauline with you, obviously she's a singer, so music is a big part of the game. And obviously, every time you sort of transform into a different form of Bonanza, there's a different song that accompanies it, and yeah, it's just so good. The graphics are great. I love the gameplay, and you can just literally just destroy everything, and you spend so much time. That's probably why I feel like I've been playing it for ages, because you just spend so much time um, destroying the world around you and getting gold and fossils and all the rest of it. But it's just such an incredible game. Such an incredible game. And you do expect that from Nintendo first party games. Like, they're always of such high quality. And that's something I always say as well. You know, everyone, you get people who rag on Nintendo for some of their practices, and that's okay. Because I understand that. But one thing you can never deny about Nintendo is the quality of their first party exclusives. Everything is just of such it's just such high quality. They set such a high bar for everything that they do first party wise, and this is no exception. And for me, this will probably end up being my game of the year, and we will do a game of the year podcast later on. In a couple of months' time, as probably the last podcast of December before I call it a day for Christmas and New Year. But it's going to be very, very high on the list, even if it's not my overall game of the year. Spoiler alert for the podcast that I've not even recorded yet. But it's really, really good, really, really good. If you've not played it and you've got a Switch 2, then you need to play it for sure. Like, there aren't many exclusives for Switch 2 at the minute, but you need to play that one. It's the best. I think it was probably supposed to be a launch title. I'm not sure whether leaks and stuff like that forced Nintendo's hand in releasing the Switch 2 a bit earlier, but it feels like it should have been a launch game alongside Mario Kart. But it wasn't, and it's out now, and it's all good. So yeah, definitely play it. There's DLC for it as well now, which is supposed to be really good. But I've probably still got another 40 hours of smashing terrain up. So yeah, the DLC is probably a long way off for me at this point. But great game, really good game. 100% gets the Sonny G Gold Seal of Approval. Which, also speaking of, is something that I really enjoyed doing last week. It was cool to be able to put some posts on social media, like that felt like actual reviews with the seals of approval and a few words to accompany them. And obviously, we discussed that on the podcast last week as well. So that was a cool thing to do, and it's definitely something that I'm going to do going forward for other new games that I play and review, and maybe even games that sort of have been out for a little while, and I want to give a review score for if people are looking for that kind of thing. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll just keep doing it, and same with everything. We'll just keep doing it. That's the Sonny G's Gaming Clubhouse motto at this point. We'll just keep doing it. We'll keep going until the wheels fall off. We'll just keep doing it. Otherwise, console-wise, I haven't been playing an awful lot. I'll get to that in a little bit. But VR, I played some good VR stuff this week. I had the opportunity to check out House of Golf VR, which was not only announced this week, I was given early access to the game this week as well. And I was allowed to put content out for it, which I did do. And House of Golf VR, there is a flat screen version of it available on sort of consoles and PC and stuff like that. But it's coming to VR later on this month, 30th of October. It launches, and it's one that I'm really excited about. Now, I love a golf game. My channel, especially recently, has been pretty golf heavy. Obviously, with Walkabout Mini Golf and Fruit Golf. But now, you add House of Golf VR to the mix as well, and my channel's going to get even more golf heavy with sort of channel mainstays, is what I call them. So Walkabout Mini Golf is one of them. Fruit Golf is now another. House of Golf VR is now another. So there's 3 golf games already. We've got Pinball FX VR as well. All they need to do is add a golf pinball table, and we're all set. We're just a golf channel at that point, right? Joking aside, House of Golf VR, it's really good. It's still very much in early access. Obviously, the game doesn't launch for another, at time of recording, like 22 days. So there's still some stuff to be ironed out in the game, and that's evident from just playing it. But I can't sit here and sort of criticize anything about the game because of how early I have had access to it and the build that I'm playing now. But it's basically being marketed as the world's first mixed reality VR golf game. And what you can do, which is so cool, is you can basically just set up anywhere in your house and create a golf course. Like there's different bits, there's like obstacles and all this sort of stuff that you can just litter around your house and create different courses with, and that is so cool. And it's probably the best use of the mixed reality on Meta Quest 3 and 3S yet. Obviously, it doesn't really have that option on Meta Quest 2, but I think it's the best use of it yet. And yeah, I'm big into it so far. And the virtual, it's not just mixed reality. The content that I put out like playthroughs of the 2 of the virtual reality courses as well, Homeschool and Disco Kings. And it's just really cool. The way that the game's animated, the way that it plays, it's a bit weightier than some of the other golf games that I play. And what I mean by that is the ball feels heavier to hit. It feels like more of a real golf ball. And that's cool as well. But it works with the mechanics of the game. And when you play it, you'll understand what I mean properly. But if you want to get an early look at House of Golf VR, there are videos on my channel now, and there's going to be plenty more to come. I'm going to do some mixed reality stuff as well, show you how that works, and we'll have some holes around my house that I can show you. So that'll be pretty cool. But as of right now, the game is great. It's really great, and I'm excited that it's coming. I welcome these golf games. I love playing them. I love playing sports of any sort in VR. But this one it's a really cool game, and I'm excited for everyone to sort of to play it themselves and actually make their own courses. And I think there's going to be some crazy stuff that people make, so because you get people who are way more creative than me. So I think people are going to get crazy with it, and I'm excited to see it. And I'm very, very grateful to those guys for giving me the opportunity to play the game early, to create content for the game early, to be a part of the announcement for the game. So yeah, I those kind of opportunities, they're not missed, they're not wasted on me. I fully appreciate them, and yeah, I was very excited to be a part of it. I was very excited to record. I got access to the game and found when the embargo was. Well, I was told when the embargo was. I was asked what kind of content I could put out, and as soon as I found that out, I got straight to work. I got straight to recording, and just to make sure that I had content out, because I want these people to trust me. You know what I mean? I want, if people trust me with making content for their games, I want to give them a reason to continue to trust me going forward. So I put content out pretty much straight away. I was straight out there with the announcement trailer as well on my socials and whatnot. And yeah, I love having those opportunities. It means a lot to me, even as a very small creator, which is what I am. But to have those opportunities is pretty incredible, and I'll be forever grateful for them. So, yeah, House of Golf VR. No score for it yet, because I'm going to save that until closer to launch or on launch, when the game is sort of at a stage where it is good for full release, and I've got a full release build to play. So no score just yet, but I have an idea in mind as to how I'm gonna score it in terms of the seal of approval. Another VR game that I've played and put content out for this week is Madison VR. Now, I'm obviously trying to do some spooky season stuff on my channel, like everyone else is. It's October, it's Halloween month. You gotta, yeah, you gotta do these things, and it's such an obvious thing to do. I'm not blind to that, but I wanted to do it. It's not something I've ever done before, really, like theme wise, especially on my own channel. But I wanted to do some Halloween stuff, and I've done some stuff so far. You'll be surprised to know that we've got some walkabout mini golf Halloween content. We've got some fruit golf Halloween content. We're going to have some Pinball FX VR content coming next week, which I'm excited about. But I do have some horror games to play also. And one that I've put out on the channel this week is the aforementioned Madison VR on PlayStation VR 2. Now, the game is absolutely bloody terrifying. All right, let me just say that straight away. And you can tell that from the video that I put out. It is bloody terrifying. Like, oh my God. Jump scares galore. Now, PlayStation VR 2, I find to be incredibly immersive anyway. More immersive than perhaps the Meta Quest. I think that's just because of the design of the headset. And the way that you literally can't see anything. There is no gaps anywhere in the headset. So coupled with that, I've gone full shebang with PlayStation VR 2. So I've got the headset, I've got the PlayStation Pulse earbud thingies, and yeah, I fully immerse myself. I love PlayStation anyway, and we'll get again. This is something I'm going to talk about very shortly. But playing the game, it throws you straight in, and doesn't tell you anything at all. Doesn't tell you anything. So it just throws you in a room, and you're like, what do I do? And sometimes it's nice to at least have a starting point. But with Madison VR, you don't get a starting point. It's just like, right, here you are. You got blood on your hands. Figure it out. So you just have to figure it out straight away. And I'm not a big fan of that. It must be said. I'm not a big fan of just sort of having to figure it out. Like I said, I like a start point at times. And I guess that's the immersion factor playing its part there. And that's okay. That's fine. There's a lot of people that love that. But me personally, I like a starting point. I like to know what I at least need to do. Teach me the mechanics of the game properly. And it does do that in roundabouts, but it's just text stuff. It doesn't hold your hand and guide you through it. It's like I said, you're in a room, figure it out. Figure out how to move, figure out how to pick shit up, all that sort of stuff. And, the start of the game very much is that. So, yeah, I was basically learning on the job whilst recording this video. I had to edit a bunch of stuff out because I was just walking around aimlessly. And that doesn't make for good viewing. So I edit and make it so it is at least somewhat entertaining. But oh my God, the lack of hand holding and idea of how to solve puzzles and stuff like that aside, the game is terrifying. And it just nails the atmosphere. It nails the atmosphere perfectly for what a horror game should be. And for that, it is absolutely incredible. It really, really is. The atmosphere is second to none in terms of horror experience. The graphically, it looks great. I think PlayStation VR 2 is incredible for that. The resolution and everything. It's just PlayStation VR 2 is incredible. So much. It's better than Quest, but you've got the power of the PlayStation 5 to sort of help that along. But yeah, graphically, it's a very good game. The sound is immaculate. It's very, very good, which just adds even more to the atmosphere because there's just stuff going on all the time, creepy noises. And there were times when noises were going on, and I thought it was me moving around that was like making the noise in the game, but it wasn't. It was just sort of stuff creaking and rustling and stuff like that, and just making general noise to just add to the creepy nature of the game. But yeah, the only and yeah, you could sort of tell in the game that I was like, oh my God, just bricking it because it's so dark and you don't know what's coming next. And there are portions of the the opening segment of the game where you take a photo and the whole house shakes. You get like thunder and lightning strikes, or at least what sounds like that, and the whole house shakes, and you just the jump scares are just amazing. It's one of those games where you're scared to turn around because you're just scared of what's going to be there next. But I like the camera mechanic in the game. I think that adds a lot. You know, it helps to light your way. You take a photo and you see what horrors you're going into next. And there's a cool bit where you solve a puzzle. You take a photo with a picture, like that you hang on the wall, and the picture looks different in the photo than it does on the wall. Like the picture, the figure in the picture is pointing behind you on the little like Kodak. Kodak, is that right? No, Polaroid. Looks like a Polaroid, like an old school camera where you take a photo and the photo comes out. So like a Polaroid. So on the little Polaroid type picture, the the picture's pointing behind you. And I was like, oh my God, I don't want to turn around. I don't even want to see what it's pointing at. And there was another part where like there was like a flash of lightning and you see like a ghostly figure walking across the hallway. And it's just stuff like that, it just absolutely nails. And for that, it's really good. And if you're a horror fan, there is a flat screen version of Madison as well. It was a flat screen version before it was a VR version. So if you're a horror fan and you're a VR fan, this is absolutely for you. If you can handle it, I can't, and that's evident from the video that I put out that I can't. But yeah, there's just bits that I don't like, and that's the sort of some of the puzzles feel a little too tricky. There is a lot of the lack of hints does make it a little bit more difficult. It must be said, and to some that's going to be not a problem at all. But to me, especially when you are in VR and you're really trying to figure it out and you can't figure it out and you're just wandering aimlessly, that it's annoying. You know, it's frustrating. That's the only real critique that I have, um, because the game is adapted very well to VR, but it's just a little bit frustrating sometimes with the puzzles. And yeah, that's my only real critique. So because of that, and I'm going to score this. I'm going to score Madison VR. I'm going to give Madison VR the bronze seal of approval. It's good. It it looks good, it sounds good, and it plays good. But obviously, the horror genre isn't going to be for everybody. And even if you are a horror fan, I think maybe this might not even be for you, depending on your level of tolerance to horror. And it might not be the kind of horror game that you like, sort of like a detective-y sort of horror game. So that coupled with some of the puzzles being quite frustrating and the lack of sort of hints on how to sort of proceed, because I did find there was a lot of sort of going back and forth trying to figure out where to go and what to do. So for that, it gets the bronze seal of approval. But as we discovered, as we sort of established last week, bronze is still good. That means it's good. It's decent. Silver, very good. Gold, must play. But Madison VR gets the bronze seal of approval. So it's still good. Very good. Yeah. In terms of other VR games, I've played more Walkabout Mini Golf. I've got two videos coming out this week that I'm not at the minute really allowed to talk about. I played more Fruit Golf, which I'm still very much enjoying. I'm just having a look on my channel here because I play so much and I record so much that sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to keep on top of, or at least keep up with. Yeah, I played more Fruit Golf. I played the Chateau Vampoir, which is like Chateau Vampire, basically. I played that course and it was really cool. I really love the game. It's just so much fun. I need to play it with people. I need to get together with Finn and play some Fruit Golf. That's what we need to do. And I will do that over the next couple of weeks. I'm going on holiday at the end of this week, so and it's my wife's birthday at the beginning of next week. So I'm trying to sort of do a million things at once so that my content is still consistent on the channel. So I'm sort of block recording and stuff like that. But when I've got a bit more time on my hands, I'm going to sort of get together with Finn, do a bunch of multiplayer stuff with him, and put that on the channel as well. Because at the end of the day, without Finn, there's no me. And yeah, he knows that anyway. I tell him without him, I wouldn't be doing this. He was doing this. He was doing this sort of thing before me. He has great content on his channel. He doesn't upload much at the minute, but I want him to. I want Finn to do more. to do more content because he's so good at this. He knows good content more so than myself for sure. He's great at this, Finn. So, Finn, if you're listening to this, do more content on your channel, and everyone go to youtube.com/@thefinsteel to check that channel out. And obviously check out Games and Grabs. The only reason we've not done the podcast, the Games and Grabs podcast recently, I know I spoke about it a few weeks back, so we're going to get back to it. I just haven't been watching wrestling. I just haven't been watching it. I haven't had time. I've sort of fallen out of love with it a little bit. But yeah, we'll get back to it at some point. I know that I still love wrestling, but I just haven't been watching it because at the minute the product just doesn't feel for me. But that's not a conversation for this podcast. It's a conversation for another time on another podcast. So yeah, we'll get back to it. But go and check out Finn's YouTube channel. Go and check out his content that he's done before. It's good stuff. It's very good stuff. But Finn will be returning to this channel in some capacity very soon as well. I will make sure of it. I did play, and I forgot to mention this when I was talking about the flat screen stuff. I played the Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny from Game Mill. I was sent a code for that, and it's good. It is good. I put a short out for it as well if you want to go and check that out. I did put a full video out for it, but I didn't know if people would enjoy watching a full video of me talking over it. So it's still there on my channel. I've just sort of unlisted it for now. I might relist it at some point, but I have my reasons. But I put a short out for it, and it's really good. So it's like a top-down dungeon crawler style game with Nickelodeon characters. SpongeBob. The SpongeBob cast of characters. Leonardo's in there from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles randomly. I know he's a Nickelodeon character now, but he's the one that they picked to have in the game. And I liked it. I like what I played. And I always say this about the games from Game Mill and Outright Games. They're made for a specific audience. They're made for a younger audience. And I was saying to Kay, my wife, yesterday about this. Yeah, I was saying to Kay yesterday, my wife, about these games that they're made for a specific audience. They are made for a younger audience, and I think it's a great way to introduce kids to gaming. So like for this game, for example, Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny. It plays very much like a Diablo style kind of game, and if want to introduce your kids to that style of game, for them to eventually sort of graduate up to the likes of Diablo, this is a great way to start. And they make a lot of games like this that I feel are just great starting blocks for kids on their gaming journey. So I played a bit of this, played a couple of hours, and I like it. I think the story is fun. I think it's nice and colorful graphically. It's fun. It's what you would expect from a Nicktoons game, I feel. It's got a good cast of characters. If you're a Nicktoons fan, you'll recognize them. There's a lot of fan service in there. And from a gameplay perspective, the combat is good. There's RPG elements in there. There's a with deep systems, or at least deep enough to help get you into this sort of genre if you're a younger player. And there's a lot of fun to be had here. And yeah, I definitely recommend it. Again, there's a lot of these games that people would see and just turn their nose up straight away. I think people would sit and go, "Oh, a Nicktoons game. That's just it's throwaway garbage." But I don't believe that at all with these games that get released by Game Mill and Outright Games. I think they're a good quality, and like I keep saying, that they're aimed at a specific audience. They have these licenses and they make games for younger players. They're not making games for even though there's fun to be had. They're not making games for me and you. They're playing games for a younger generation. So, when my son is old enough to play video games, I'm not going to throw him straight into Diablo. I'm going to, say, okay, well, if why don't you play this? And then, as you get older, you can sort of progress. It was the same when last week when I talked about NBA Bounce, you're not going to throw a kid straight into NBA 2K because it's complicated at first. There's a lot of difficult mechanics. If you build them up slowly, with this, I didn't have that really coming up as a gamer. The games that I played, there were, you had NBA Live and stuff like that on the Mega Drive and the SNES and stuff like that. So you were thrown into sim games almost straight away. Sure, you had NBA Jam, but they were still catered to not a young audience. You didn't have games that were created specifically for kids to play. So I think that the fact that these games and these studios exist to make these games, I think is such a good thing. It's a healthy way of introducing the younger generation to video games. And yeah, for that reason, I applaud these. I applaud these companies, and I applaud the creators who put content out for these games because, you know, I think when people see this sort of content on channels, they'll they'll sometimes will perhaps have mocking words to say like, "Oh, why are you putting content out for Bratz or Gabby's Dollhouse or Bluey or whatever?" And I think again, it's a good thing. Kids watch a ton of YouTube these days. Again, something we didn't have when we were younger. I didn't have YouTube. I had TV. I was watching movies, games, and videos on ITV on a Saturday morning when I was a kid. You know, and Games Master, just stuff like that. So I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have access to all this content that people do now. So the creators that put videos out for this kind of content, I applaud you because you do it with no fear of backlash, or maybe you have fear of backlash, but you do it anyway, and you do it and you keep doing it, and I applaud you for that. And I think it's a good thing. I've got a bunch of these games to play to put content out, and I'm not going to lie to you. Sometimes I worry about putting that kind of content out because I don't want sometimes it doesn't fit in with the aesthetic of my channel. I do a lot of VR stuff. I do a lot of different types of games. And sometimes I do worry about putting that kind of content out because I don't want people to think, well, why is he putting this sort of content out? What kind of, you know what I mean? It's hard. It's very hard to explain, but I know what I mean. And I think if you are a creator like me, you probably know what I mean as well. But I think it's something that I probably just need to get past and just do it anyway. But I'm going to approach putting flat screen content out different. The person I go to for advice is my wife. I ask her sort of, what do you think about how to put my content out, how to put it out there for people? Because I want to cover VR, I want to cover flat screen, and like I've said before, that I do think that they belong in the same space and that they can exist in the same space. And I need to figure out the best way to do that works for me and my channel. And I've asked my wife, and she seems to think that putting shorts for flat screen games out is the best thing to do. So I'm going to try that going forward. So, and like I said to you before, I've got a bunch of these games that I want to create content for. Because when you upload a video to YouTube, it just say, "Is it made for kids? Yes or no." And if I can introduce kids to some of these games and get them excited about playing video games and introduce some of these genres to a new generation of gamers, and that's something that's going to make me very happy. Especially now, I've got a kid myself, and I've got a kid on the way, like I keep saying. So I want them to have the best introduction to video games possible, and obviously I will do my best to steer them in the right direction anyway. But yeah, I've sort of gone off on a bit of a tangent there, coming away from the game that I was talking about. But these games are very important. Is the long and short of it. And going back to the Nicktoons and the Dice of Destiny, that gets the bronze Sonny G seal approval as well because it is good. It is good. I don't think any of these games are you know games of the year candidates or anything like that, and they're not made with that intention. So but they I don't think there's bad quality. There are some bad quality games, but I'm yet to play a game of quality so bad that I'm like, this would get the wood. This would get the wood award. You know. So yeah, apologies for the tangent that I've gone off there on these style of games, but I believe in them, and I need to get over myself and just make more content for them because I'm trusted with these games, and I want to again, I want to um, make sure that these companies do still have faith in me as a creator. But so we'll make more content. We'll figure it all out. We'll put more shorts out for these games. I've got a couple of giveaways to do as well for a couple of these games, so we'll go with that as well. Maybe I could get my wife involved. She could play some of these games and help me with some of this content. We'll see. We'll figure it all out. Again, we're pretty much learning on the job here. I feel like recently with this channel, I've just starting afresh in terms of the content that I make and the approach that I have towards it. Especially so we're starting up this podcast and stuff like that. So I'm learning on the job, and I'm adding new things to my repertoire all the time, swapping and changing things out as I see fit as well. So, yeah, apologies for the tangent, but that's just how this podcast is. That's how I am. I flick between things. If I've got something to say, I just say it. So yeah, Nick Toons of the Dice and Destiny, bronze, Sonny G, seal of approval. It's good. It's good. If you have young kids that want to get into gaming, I recommend it. I really do recommend it. It's good. There you go. Good. And that's pretty much it in terms of what I've been playing. I know we've gone off on it on a tangent for the last half an hour or so, but that's pretty much what I've been playing this week. My Xbox has been collecting dust, and here's why. Because I've just sort of fallen out of love with Xbox at the minute. This week, obviously, the big talking point is the fact that the price for Game Pass Ultimate has increased. And it's increased by over 50%, which is crazy. It really is crazy. Now, look, I think Game Pass has been great. The day one releases, the games that you may have wanted to play but didn't want to buy just in case you didn't like them. Giving people that opportunity to try games out that they perhaps wouldn't have before. And for that, Game Pass is awesome. It really is awesome. But recently, I found myself using Game Pass less and less anyway. I don't know why. But that's me personally, and there's a couple of friends of mine as well that have sort of said the same. But there are people that are out there that use Game Pass a lot. For me, a 50 price increases are normal. PlayStation have upped the price of PlayStation Plus over the course of time. And Xbox have done it before as well, but a 50+% increase is ludicrous. And I don't understand it at all. And I think this is just another nail in the coffin for Xbox. I think, that they've increased the price of the console, the Xbox Series X. And there are, Costco in America have even stopped selling it because people aren't buying it. People aren't buying Xbox consoles. And it breaks my heart a little bit that this is where Xbox is going now. The handheld that they're bringing out is pricey, very pricey. I've read reports today that it is selling and selling well, but I think it's the core Xbox fan base that are buying. You're not getting new people coming to Xbox, and you're going to get even less new people coming to Xbox because of these price increases. Pricing people out of buying the Xbox Series X, pricing people out of Game Pass. The holiday season's coming up, and the Xbox and Game Pass is just such a great way to sell Xbox to parents. But with the price increases, people, the cost of living crisis and all that sort of stuff that's going on in the world at the minute, people can't afford it. And I think Xbox have been a little bit ignorant to that. They've not taken anything into any of that sort of stuff into consideration. They've just gone, okay, yeah, we've spent so much money on buying publishers and stuff like that we now need to recoup some of that cost. So what can we increase? What can we do? I know. Let's just increase the price of Game Pass. So it's gone from the best value subscription service in gaming to not so much anymore. Yeah, and I'm just blown away by it. And I'm disappointed in Xbox, and it's made me not want to play my Xbox. If anything, it's just going to sit there doing nothing. I might as well sell it. And it's really, it's just so disappointing. I've been an Xbox fan since the original Xbox. I sort of, it reminded me so much of the Dreamcast at the time. It sort of carried on what the Dreamcast left. And I've loved the Xbox since the original Xbox. And then I love the Xbox 360. It's probably, my favorite console of all time. And, I've progressed with Xbox. I've obviously had PlayStations as well throughout the course of that time, but I've always been a big Xbox fan. Xbox One, it wasn't great. It had a bad launch. And throughout that whole console generation, it was just okay. Got the Xbox Series X on launch. I have an Xbox Series S as well in my bedroom. But now it's just there's just been things over the course of this console's life that I've not liked. I've not liked some of the especially with the Xbox One as well. The quality of the first party exclusives has not been very good. Especially when you compare to PlayStation and Nintendo. The first party games just haven't been great. And now, with the Game Pass price increase, with the console price increase, with the very expensive handheld that they're bringing out, everything's just fueled by money. Everything's very it just feels to me very anti-consumer, and it's very disappointing to me. And I'm finding it quite difficult to find the right words other than disappointment to describe everything that's going on with Xbox at the minute. Also, the big rumor the other day was that Xbox were going to dip out of the console market entirely, and it could focus on cloud streaming going forward. And obviously, that they've come out and they've denied that. But I still wouldn't be surprised if that happened, because with the cost of Game Pass now, with the lack of world-class first-party games, I know Forza Horizon 6 is coming. That'll be great, and I'll play it. But for the cost of Game Pass, I might as well just buy that game outright. Might as well just buy the game. Maybe this is what they're trying to do. Maybe they want people to buy their games more, because you are still going to have people that subscribe to Game Pass. I know that the website and everything crashed because of the price increase, and people scrambling to cancel. I cancelled it on my console. You go on a website to do it. What year are we living in here? But yeah, a lot of negative talk around Xbox at the minute. But maybe that's the reason. Maybe they want people to buy their games more. Maybe people who just play Call of Duty. You could play it on Game Pass, but at the end of the day, you're going to be paying like £200 or £300 to play the one game for the year. I know people who just play Call of Duty, but for that price, you might as well just buy it. Might as well buy the ridiculous edition, the expensive one. Same goes for Forza Horizon. You might as well buy the one that comes with the DLCs and the car pass or whatever, and just pay for the very core subscription of Game Pass, which hasn't had the price increase. I don't know. It just seems like a very baffling move, and one that hasn't really been explained. But it is one that is incredibly disappointing, and I do think this is another nail in the coffin for Xbox. I don't see how they survive another console generation. I see PlayStation and Nintendo being the only two brands that have consoles come out. That's the future I see. I don't see a future at the minute where Xbox is a real player in the console space. They're not really a player in the console space at the minute. They're always third. So to keep giving people less and less reasons to buy an Xbox and be an Xbox player is just mind-blowing to me. You think, Game Pass was the reason to bring people back to the Xbox space, and now that's increased over 50%. You're giving people less and less of a reason to be an Xbox player. Sure, everything can be an Xbox, but there are still a lot of people out there who want a box to play on. And I don't think Xbox are giving people enough of a reason to buy a box to play on. PlayStation is great, I think also in terms of innovation, I don't think Xbox did enough this generation. Sure, the Xbox Series X is incredibly powerful, and the Xbox Series S is a great budget way to get into to continue. It's a great budget box. The Xbox Series S is what I'm trying to say. But PlayStation, they did more. They changed the user interface. The controller is excellent. Like the PlayStation DualSense is a great controller. So PlayStation did more, and they did change things up. Even I'm just about the long and short of it is, PlayStation will always be there, and I don't think Xbox will always be there. They might be there in the background. People might use it as more of a mobile gaming cloud streaming platform. Sure, that's fine, but in the console space, I just don't see them. I don't see a future with them. I see a future with PlayStation and I see a future with Nintendo, but I don't see a future with Xbox there. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to see Xbox thriving again, but at the minute, there's so much negative press surrounding Xbox and what they do and what they're doing that I just don't see a way back. And that's really sad to me, because they've been such a factor in gaming for the last however many years now, and to imagine a future where they're just not there is sad to me, because I want them to be. I want there to be competition, and I don't think there's competition really there between Nintendo and PlayStation. Nintendo will always just do their own thing and have their console and bring their games out. You're never going to see Mario on PlayStation, you know. But what I see the future of Microsoft being is a game publisher, Microsoft Game Studios being a thing. But I don't see Xbox being anything other than a cloud streaming mobile platform going forward, and that is sad. You might maybe you'll have a cloud streaming box with no memory on it, so you can't download anything on it. You can just stream games from your cloud Xbox, and you just call it the Xbox Cloud or something like that. I don't know. I just don't see. I don't see boxed games being a thing for Xbox going forward. I think everything's going to be streamed. I do. I think that's the future that they want for themselves, and that's okay. And now they can just sell their games on other platforms. I fully expect next year, maybe even the back end of this year, some games to be announced for Switch from Microsoft Game Studios. Gears of War, maybe a version of Forza Horizon, Call of Duty in some capacity. And I think that's the future for Xbox, because I think the damage has been done at this point in terms of consoles and subscription services. I just think the damage has been done, and I don't know how they recover from it. I hope they do, but I just don't think. I don't see it. I personally don't see it, but I don't know. Yeah, that's my thoughts on it. That's my thoughts on it, and it's just soured me, and it's made me not want to play my Xbox. And for this last week or so, my Xboxes have just sat collecting dust, not doing anything. And I hate that, because I used to be such a big Xbox player. I used to love, collecting gamer score and all the rest of it. But now I'm just soured on it so much that I don't even want to turn the console on. And that sucks. But, I have a PlayStation 5. I have a Nintendo Switch 2. So I'm very lucky in that sense. I have those to sort of fall back on. It's not, but my main console was Xbox. And it's not going to be going forward, I don't think. And that's a real shame, because I love Xbox. I've loved that brand for years and years. And now I'm falling out of love with it because of their practices. And that sucks. It does. But that's business, I suppose. And that's just the reality of the way that Xbox wants to take their business. And who am I to they're not going to listen to me or you or anyone else. They're going to keep doing what they do. There's been no backtracking on the Game Pass price like there was the backtracking when they tried to sell the Outer Worlds 2 for $80, 70 quid, whatever. And they had to lower that price because of the backlash. But there's been no backtracking here, and there won't be. But that is what it is. But yeah, that's my rant over. A bit of a very wordy podcast this week, different tangents here, there, and everywhere. So for that, I'm sorry. But yeah, we'll call it there. I'm not sure if there'll be a podcast next week. I will try. But if not next week, there'll be one the week after for sure. But I hope you've enjoyed episode 5 of the Gaming Clubhouse podcast. If you have, please subscribe to the podcast on your favorite podcast service. If you're watching on YouTube, please like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Go follow me on social media. Come and join the Discord, links to which are in the podcast and video descriptions. But for now, this is the Gaming Clubhouse. My name is Sonny G, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys. Goodbye.